The woman was paralyzed, and her husband took her lover home. But when he found himself in her room, something didn't go as he had planned. Before continuing, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our incredible future stories. It was a hot day in July when the sun shone fiercely in the country. A golden sea of wheat stretched as far as the eye could see, swaying in the summer breeze. In this idyllic setting, Debbie and Peter were busy helping Debbie's parents with the agricultural work. Usually the men tended the hay near the river, the women prepared dinner. But not that day. Debbie and her mother-in-law also decided to help unload the hay truck. Debbie was on top of the truck, pushing heavy bales of hay. She worked with determination. At a certain point, a moment of distraction and a foot that slipped. Peter observed the scene, which almost seemed to him as if he was seeing it in slow motion. Debbie lost her balance, her arms trying to grab something, anything to break her fall. But it was all useless. Gravity had already decided for her. With a muffled scream, Debbie fell from the truck. It all happened in a split second, too fast to avoid. The father-in-law let out a desperate cry, but no one could have done anything to stop it. They immediately took her to the nearest hospital, and she remained there for 2 interminable weeks. When they discharged her, the doctors were clear. Debbie was paralyzed, unable to move, and with no hope of improvement. Peter's life changed radically. The days followed one another slowly, full of anguish and guilt. Every time he looked at Debbie, he felt a deep pain, like a wound that didn't want to heal. Debbie, now immobile, could not speak. Her eyes expressed only confusion and desperation. Peter found himself having to deal with a devastating reality. The doctor suggested moving her to the capital for further diagnosis, but the costs were prohibitive. The man, confused and desperate, tried to find a solution. The young couple's savings were not enough, and asking their in-laws for help seemed pointless. He worked as a guard in a bank, also looking for a second job to cover the expenses. He felt suffocated by responsibility. His love for Debbie transformed into a daily struggle against despair. Things got worse when her mother-in-law and sister-in-law had to return to the village, leaving Debbie in the hands of her husband. Peter felt increasingly alone and frustrated. Tension was growing in the house, so he decided to look for a home nurse. In the meantime, he could count on the support of Tina, a friend of Debbie who brought some relief to the house. She was always available. Her presence in the house did not go unnoticed by Peter, who slowly began to feel attracted to her. Their meetings became more frequent and intimate until one day, overwhelmed by feelings, they kissed passionately. Their secret love consumed them, but Peter was tormented by guilt. "Tina, please stay. You are the air I breathe," he whispered to her one day. She, initially reluctant, eventually gave in to his advances. Home nurses followed each other unsuccessfully, one after another, leaving only frustration and despair in their wake. Peter, exhausted by fatigue and pain, saw hope fading a little more every day. Despite everything, Tina was there at his side, a beacon of light in the midst of so much darkness. One day, Tina decided to look for a solution, so she found a link that promised hope. A healer, capable of activating the inner resources of paralyzed patients. "Will he be able to heal Debbie?" she asked Peter. "It would be a miracle," the man replied, looking up at the sky. Tina decided to try that path. She felt she had no other choice. With a mixture of fear and hope, she contacted the healer and arranged the meeting. She had to do everything alone because the day had come when Peter left for a whole week on a business trip. He had chosen to accept that trip to increase his earnings, and during those days, he and Tina spoke sporadically due to Peter's intense work. But he didn't know that when he returned, he would find an unexpected surprise. If you like the video, give it a valuable like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. 1,000 thanks. Peter arrived at the house, opened the door, and immediately saw Tina with an enigmatic smile heading towards the bedroom. As soon as he looked into the room, he was shocked. Debbie, sitting on the bed, looked at him with a new look, full of life. "But what happened?" he asked, incredulous. Tina, her voice trembling with emotion, replied, "The healer, remember? She worked a miracle. Debbie is improving slowly, but she is doing it." Peter felt a mixed feeling between shock and joy. Seeing Debbie in this recovered state was something he never thought possible. Debbie had timidly started speaking again, so it was she who revealed to Peter what Tina had confessed to her: the flirtation between them. That betrayal didn't sit well with Debbie, and given her situation, she wanted to focus on herself. Tina had been honest with Debbie, admitting that she had a certain feeling for him. Debbie, in tears, showed a shocking maturity and accepted Tina's sincerity, inviting them both to be together if this made them happy. Peter no longer understood anything. He was confused. His mind was a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. He took some time to reflect on his feelings, and after a few days spent a bit at his parents' house and a bit with a dear friend, he realized that his true love was for Debbie. "I had a period of strong discouragement and frustration. Forgive me, my love," he said to Debbie. Tina didn't like this decision at all. She felt hurt and betrayed, and decided she didn't want to see Peter anymore. Debbie, over time, decided to believe in Peter. The road to forgiveness was not easy, but the man's determination to right his mistake and help Debbie in her physical recovery was unshakable. Peter did his utmost to support Debbie in every way possible. Every day was a new challenge, but together, step by step, they managed to rebuild not only Debbie's health, but also their bond. Their love, tested in unimaginable ways, emerged stronger and deeper. Betrayal and deception can leave deep scars, but true love can overcome even the most serious difficulties. And do you believe this? What would you have done in Debbie's place? Would you have forgiven Peter?